I was staring out my window on the second floor. I had the phone to my ear and I could hear a muffled voice repeating my name, but I was mesmerised. It originally caught my eye because I could not quite figure out why this man seemed to think that sitting on a bench was appropriate in the middle of a rainstorm, and then I realised he was actually there, just sitting on the bench on the field directly opposite my house, the bench that faced my house. He was staring at me. That was impossible because the bench that faced my house was at least 150 feet away from where I was standing, but he was staring at me, and I couldn't quite make it out, but it looked like he was smiling right at me. I stood motionless for what felt like a lifetime, but was more likely a minute or two, and I watched as he got up and walked away. I heard my name being shouted into my ear as I snapped out of my trance. My wedding planner was informing me that the flowers I wanted were not going to be in season, so they were going to be more difficult to get hold of, and I told her I didn't mind and hung up the phone, still confused and oddly excited by the sighting of him. Later that night, whilst writing invitations out, my fiancé asked what I was doing. His question confused me, and wondering whether I should reply with a sarcastic quip, as I believed it was quite obvious as to what I was doing. That is until I looked down, and I found the last 3 invitations I had written were all addressed to the same person, the same man, him. I stared at his name on my shining pieces of card, and I looked at his name in my calligraphic handwriting, and my breath caught in my throat. I put it down to being tired and went up to bed. Over the next couple of days, I found myself losing focus. My mind would slowly slip away from centerpieces and menu selections to what he had said to me about how he used to work at a bar that served fish and chips in traditional newspaper cones. That ended up being our evening meal selection. The next time I saw him, I asked why he thought I found him so easy to open up to talk to. What I really wanted to ask him was why his company was so much more appealing than my fiancé's.